Begin, guys. Here we go. Let's say it together.
Once upon a time,
there was a boy named Hansel and a girl named Gretel and sister. Hansel and Gretel were very naughty children, and they did very naughty things just for fun. For instance, they intentionally walked through puddles. Shows how you just stomp through those puddles. And they would track mud all through the house. Oh my goodness. They played baseball in the living room and fed the dog Play-Doh. Oh my goodness. Their parents didn't know what to do. Can you show us just how frustrated you are with these children? Oh, you're at your wits' ends. They often warned Hansel and Gretel that if they didn't shape up, they would have no choice but to send them off to be disciplined. But Hansel and Gretel didn't even care. They never heeded their parents' warning. Well, one day, Hansel and Gretel were drawing on the walls with permanent marker when their parents walked in. Father, in his best father voice, said, Hansel and Gretel, we have something to tell you. And Mother stepped forward and in her best mother voice said, your father and I have decided. To send you to the only place. We feel you will learn to behave yourselves. And Father said it's going to be terrible. We're sending you to military school. Good. And Hansel and Gretel just exploded in tears. And Hansel got down on his knees and pleaded with his parents and said, please don't send us away. And Gretel did the same thing and said, we'll be good. We promise. But as tough as it was, Mother and Father just shook their heads sadly, gave them their suitcase. Mother, go ahead and pick up the blue. Hand it to Hansel. And said, you will have everything you need in there. And Mother also said, the car is broken.
you have to walk.
So I'm afraid you're going to have to walk. But it's very easy to get to. Father said, all you have to do is follow that path. And turn left at the fork in the road. And Mother said, then stay to the right of the road. And cross the creek at your left. And Father said, and then you take a right at the yellow stones. You'll want to walk up the wooden staircase. And knock 3 times. On the door in the big oak tree. Oh, Hansel and Gretel said, those aren't easy directions. Do you expect us to get lost? Dum-dum-dum. Let's see what happens. Okay, so good job. So Mother and Father, you guys sit down. Moving on into the next scene. Good job, you guys. Good stand up. Well, poor Hansel and Gretel. They didn't listen to their parents, and now they were being sent away to military school. So they began their journey. They followed the path through the forest, but when they came to the fork in the road, they accidentally went left instead of right, and instead of a creek, oh my goodness, they found a really wide, raging river. So they had to swim across. Here. Oh my gosh, get What? Oh, good, we made it. Okay, and instead of yellow stones, they came upon a purple bush. And that's when they figured, we're lost.
We're lost.
Oh my goodness. And they began to cry.
I would have gotten that.
Well, just then, a very sleepy princess, where's my sleeping beauty, started center stage and wandered very sleepily all the way up to Hansel and Gretel. And Hansel said, oh, why did we ever make the dog eat Play-Doh?
Or why did we ever make the dog eat our Play-Doh?
And Gretel said, why did we always play baseball in the house?
Why do we always play baseball in the house?
And Hansel said, we'll never get home.
We'll never get home.
And Gretel said, we'll never see Mom and Dad again.
We'll never see Mom and Dad again.
Well, just then, a lovely but tired and yawning princess came walking by. And with a big yawn and out to the audience, there you go, good job. She asked, why are you children crying? And Hansel and Gretel said, we're lost!
We're lost!
And Hansel said, can you help us find the military school?
Can you help us find the military school?
Oh, and in a very nice but tired voice, Sleeping Beauty said, sure, I know where it is. All you have to do is go through the enchanted forest.
All you have to do is go through the enchanted forest.
To the gleaming pond. It's right there.
It's right there.
Perfect. Well, Hansel and Gretel were so excited. They said, thank you, Princess.
Thank you, Princess.
And very sleepily, Sleeping Beauty said, oh, I'm so tired.
Oh, I'm so tired.
You wouldn't happen to have a pillow in your backpack, would you?
You wouldn't happen to have a pillow in your backpack.
Well, Hansel and Gretel didn't know what was in their suitcase, so they looked in the big zipper. Oh! And lo and behold, there was a pillow. Well, the princess was so excited, she said, thank you.
That kind of looks like
And she skipped off to find the nearest oak tree to take a nap under. Can you go find a tree? You could be in the audience, that's fine. And she quickly fell asleep. But you could hear her across the forest with a big princess snore. Good job, Sleeping Beauty. Okay. Well, now, Hansel and Gretel were determined to find that military school, so they began on their way again. Just then, coming the opposite direction, all these animals, like animals center stage, with donkey and lion, all in the center stage, facing Hansel and Gretel. Now you travel in this big group together, okay? You missing anybody? Okay, good. Now guys, no, you're not part of this. You come in later. I need my audience to scooch back, guys. We're creeping up, okay? All right. Just then, Hansel and Gretel came across a donkey, and an elephant, and a cat, and a rooster, and a parrot, and a lion, all making tons of animal noises. Well, Hansel and Gretel looked at them with surprise. Oh, you sure what a surprise you are? Well, Gretel stepped forward and said, hello.
Hello.
Where are you going?
Where are you going?
And the donkey stepped forward, and the parrot stepped forward, and the donkey said, we're going to Brementown to start a band.
We're going to Brementown to start a band.
And the parrot said, a band. Good. And the dog stepped forward. Where's my dog? Oh, come over here, dog. We're musicians.
We're musicians.
And the cat stepped forward and said, meow. Want to hear our song?
Want to hear our song?
And the rooster stepped forward and said, we could use the practice.
We could use the practice.
And the lion and the elephant stepped forward and said, roar. Please be our audience.
Please be our audience.
Please be our audience.
Please be our audience.
Well, Hansel and Gretel said, sure. And they had a seat right there. Well, all the animals started to make their own noises. So the donkey started with his hee-haw.
Hee-haw.
And the parrot said, hee-haw.
Hee-haw.
And the lion said, "Ruh." And the rooster said, and the cat said,
Meow.
and the elephant said, good. And the dog said, good job. And then, once they were all tuned up, they made all their beautiful animal noises together. Ready? Go! And when they were all done, Hansel and Gretel had never heard something like that. So they stood up and gave him a big applause. And all the animals felt so wonderful they took a bow. Good job. Well, the dog said, thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
And the donkey said, we must be going now.
We must be going now.
And the parrot said, going now.
Must be going now.
And the cat said, is there anything we can do for you before we go?
Is there anything to do for you before we go?
And the rooster said, where are you going?
Where are you going?
And the lion and the elephant said, where did you come from?
Where did you come from?
Well, all these questions Hansel and Gretel didn't know how to answer, and they said, we're lost.
We're lost.
And Gretel said, can you help us find the military school?
Can you help us find the military school?
And the rooster stepped forward and said, sure, that's easy.
That's easy.
And the elephant and the lion stepped forward and said, all you do is keep walking along this path
All you do is keep walking along this path
until you get to the singing bush.
until you get to the singing bush.
And the donkey and the parrot and the dog and the cats all said, and then take a right. You'll be right there.
And then you'll take a right, then you'll be right there.
And the parrot said, be right there.
Be right there.
Good job. And Hansel and Gretel were so excited. We're almost there, we're almost there. And they said, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, all the animals, feeling like they had done a good deed for the day, wandered off into the forest to their next musician's gig. Good job, guys. Good job, animals. Well, Hansel and Gretel continued on the path until they reached the singing bush. Let's have singing bush downstage right. Audience, can you please scooch back a little bit, guys? Thank you. Well, the singing bush was tuning up her vocals. In her best opera voice. Wow, Hansel and Gretel had never seen or heard a singing bush before, so they wandered around the singing bush and kept listening to see if it really was coming from the bush. And they heard, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Oh my goodness. Hansel and Gretel discovered it was coming from the bush. And they said, this must be a magical singing bush.
This must be a magical singing bush.
Oh my goodness. Well, once they realized that they had hit the singing bush, the path just sort of ended. They couldn't go left or right. So Gretel turned out to the audience and said, now what?
Now what?
And Hansel said, oh no.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness. Well, just then, some beautiful, graceful dancing princesses came down the path they were just on. And they danced their way along the path. Oh, beautiful girls. Nice. And just then, as they did their last big twirl, they saw Hansel and Gretel. Oh. And they said, what are you doing in the forest?
What are you doing in the forest?
And Hansel Hansel and Gretel both said, "We're lost."
We're lost.
Oh my goodness. And let's have Gretel come up here. You're very interested in them. And then Hansel, I keep moving that up. Hansel came up this way. And you're really checking them out. You've never seen such beautiful dancing princesses before. And the first princess says, "We are going to the castle
We are going to the castle
to dance with the prince."
to dance with the prince.
Beautiful. And the second princess says, "Our father doesn't know we sneak out every night to go and dance."
Our father doesn't know we sneak out every night to go and dance.
Nice. And Hansel said, "No problem, ladies.
No problem, ladies.
Your secret's safe with us."
Your secret's safe with us.
Oh. And Gretel came up and asked, "Do you know the way to the military school?"
Do you know the way to the
Military school?
military school?
Very good. Let's open you up to the audience. There we go. So when I say open up, you just kind of tilt your body so that you're facing the audience. Just like that. Good job. Okay, and the princesses said, "Oh, yes, yes."
Oh, yes.
Sometimes the prince goes to the military school.
Sometimes the prince goes to the military school.
And this princess said, "And we follow him there.
And we follow him there.
And we watch him do his military stuff."
And we watch him do his military stuff.
So we can tell you where it's at.
So we can tell you where it's at.
Very good. But beware
But beware
of the mean troll
of the mean troll
who lives under the bridge.
who lives under the bridge.
Oh my goodness. So Gretel said, "Which way do we go?"
Which way do we go?
And the first princess said, "You'll have to go back down that path,
You're going to have to go back down that path.
but be careful going over the bridge.
But be careful, don't go over the bridge.
And once you pass the bridge,
Once you pass the bridge,
you're there at the military school."
you're here at the military school.
Nice job. And the princesses said, "Ta-ta."
Ta-ta.
And they danced their way all the way to the castle. Good job. Good job, guys. Okay, singing bush. Good job. All right. Well, where's my trolls? I see right here, guys.
Those noses. Look at those noses. I know. Someone call my stilts.
Alrighty. Well, Hansel and Gretel continued on their way. They were so tired by this time. The sun was so hot, they were sweating and thirsty and getting very, very hungry. But they knew they had to make it before sundown. So they traveled down the path.
How about their back?
And when they came to the bridge, they thought to themselves before they crossed. And Gretel said, "Hey, Hansel," in a scared voice, "do you really think there's a troll?" And Hansel said, "No,
No,
I don't think trolls exist."
I don't think trolls exist.
And he started to stomp across the bridge. 1, 2 awful trolls jumped out onto the bridge and said, "Who dares cross my bridge?
Who dares cross my bridge?
Do I smell children?"
Do I smell children?
And Gretel said, "2 lost children, sir."
Two lost children, sir.
Good. And the trolls took a big sniff in the air and said, children. Delicious.
Delicious.
Well, just then, Hansel started shaking in his Hansel boots. And his hat started shaking. Because he'd never seen a troll before, let alone 2 trolls. Oh my goodness. But Gretel got very brave and stepped up to the troll and said, "You don't want to eat us, Mr. Trolls."
You do not want to eat us, Mr. Troll.
And she thought real quick. And she said, "We've been walking for a long distance.
We've been walking for a long distance.
And we haven't eaten anything."
And we haven't eaten anything.
And Hansel said, "Yeah.
Yeah.
Come forward. And Hansel said, "I'm sure we're much too stringy." Let's have you stand on that side of the trolls.
I'm sure we're much too stringy.
And Gretel said, we wouldn't taste very good.
We wouldn't taste very good.
Well, just then the trolls started to think and said, And this troll said, maybe you're right.
Maybe you're right.
And this troll said, I would like you if you were a little plumper.
I would like you if you were a little plumper.
And this troll said, you know what I really like to eat?
You know what I really like to eat?
And they said, what?
What?
And he stepped forward and said, stepped real close and said, granola bars!
Granola bars.
And this troll stepped forward and said, yeah, but the granola bar seller hasn't been in town for a long time.
Yeah, but the granola bar seller hasn't been in town for a long time.
And they both said, so we've been eating children.
So we've been eating children.
Aww. Well, Hansel said, I might have some granola bars in my bag.
I might have some granola bars in my bag.
Dun, 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 and lo and behold, well, the trolls did a little troll dance. They were so happy. And they gobbled down those granola bars in 2 bites. Well, now their stomachs were satisfied and they were so happy, they took a deep sigh in. And they said, is there any way we can help you nice children?
Is there any way we can help you nice children?
Oh, yes, said Gretel.
Yes.
And Hansel said, we're trying to get to the military school.
We're trying to get to the military school.
Oh, said the troll.
Oh.
You actually have to go that way.
You actually have to go that way.
But beware of the rhyming witch.
But beware of the rhyming witch.
So, you're going to go all the way to you say this, all the way to Rapunzel's tower.
You're going to go all the way to Rapunzel's tower.
Past the 3 little pigs' house.
Past the 3 little pigs' house.
Past the gingerbread house.
Past the ginger house.
And be sure not to eat anything off the gingerbread house.
And be sure to not eat anything off the gingerbread house.
Because there's a wicked rhyming witch who lives there.
Eat anything she wants you to be fat, so she'll turn you into pie.
Well, Hansel and Gretel were so excited, they said, thank you.
Thank you.
And skipped on down the path. Good job, trolls. You can have a seat. Nice job. Just hang on to them for now. Actually, put them on the prop table for me. Thank you, guys. So Hansel and Gretel continued on their journey, bound and determined to find the military school. As they walked through the forest, it started to get very dark and very cold. See, hang on. I'm coming to you, okay? They started to hear noises in the forest. Can you guys make some forest noises for us? So Hansel and Gretel were backing up in the forest. They didn't know what to think. All of a sudden, they heard a wolf howl. And they heard the branches creak. Oh my goodness. They would have called their parents for directions, but their cell phone wasn't getting any reception. Oh my goodness, they were starving and lost and scared. When all of a sudden, they heard the loudest, ugliest witch cackle they had ever heard. Let's have it downstage right there. Ready, deep breath in, keeping your big witch cackle. Try to get ready. Start up real high, come down. Ready, deep breath. Oh my goodness. Well, just then, Hansel and Gretel saw there was a delicious looking house sitting in a clearing in the forest. And they ran in to the tent, which were going to gobble down as much off of the gingerbread house as they could. They were so starving, they forgot the warning that the trolls had given about not eating the gingerbread house. When all of a sudden, a a very nice sounding but mean on the inside witch came out of her house and came around Hansel and Gretel and said, "Come in, children.
Come in, children.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
I can feed you apple pie."
I could feed you apple pie.
Good job. Well, hearing about apple pie, Hansel and Gretel forgot all the warnings about the rhyming witch and stood up and said, "Yes, please."
Yes, please.
And they all went in the house and sat down around the witch's table. Hansel and Gretel went into the gingerbread house and sat down at the witch's table while the witch was dishing out apple pie. Can you feed them apple pie on their plates? Big scoops. If you're so starving, guys, what would you do? Oh, wow, you would love it. Hansel said, "Didn't the troll tell us about a warning about the rhyming witch?"
Did the trolls tell us a warning about the rhyming witch?
And just then the rhyming witch went to go get more food in the kitchen, and Gretel said, "She seems harmless.
She seems harmless.
She must be one of those misunderstood poets."
She must be
One of those
one of those
misunderstood
misunderstood
poets.
poets.
Good. Keep eating, guys. Keep eating. Well, the witch came back in with a large pot of boiling water and sat it down right in front of Hansel and Gretel and said, "Now, my lovelies, eat it all up.
Now, my love, eat it all up.
Then on bread and spaghetti, we'll sup."
And then on bread and spaghetti we'll sup.
The witch gave another evil cackle. Ready? And Hansel and Gretel looked at each other. And Hansel said, "Why do you think she keeps laughing like that?" And Gretel said back, "Something doesn't feel right." The witch started stirring her pot of boiling water and asked Gretel to put some seasoning in.
Gretel, could you put some seasoning in?
Good, so Gretel sprinkled in some salt and sprinkled in some pepper. And the witch said, "Now the pasta I shall make,
Now the pasta I shall make,
and the garlic bread we shall bake."
and the garlic bread we shall make.
And Hansel, "Eat more pie, my dear."
Eat more pie?
So the witch says that to you.
Oh.
Say, "Hansel, eat more pie, my dear."
Hansel, eat more pie, my dear.
Good job. Well, just then, I need Rapunzel. Let's have you come in. Stage right. I need the two princes. Come up, stage right. I need Cinderella, and I need the Beast. Okay, everybody get prepared off stage right. Because you're about to burst in and save them. So you're the heroes. That's okay, I'll give you your line. Okay, here we go. So, just then, as the witch was preparing the water, in burst a whole crowd of people to break through the door, guys. Oh my goodness. And just then Rapunzel said, "Don't eat that pie."
Don't eat that pie.
And the prince stepped forward and said, "She's trying to fatten you up."
She's trying to fatten you up.
And the second prince said, "And then she will eat you."
And then she will eat you.
Oh, I need Cinderella. I'm so sorry. I missed Cinderella.
We don't have Cinderella. Oh, I was going to be Cinderella.
That's okay. I'll give the line to Rapunzel. I'm sorry. Okay, Rapunzel, say, "Gretel, move away from that boiling water."
Gretel, move away from that boiling water.
And the second prince said, "The witch was going to cook you."
The witch was going to cook you.
Oh my goodness, just then, a hideous beast came from the middle of the crowd. And he said, "Relax, kids.
Relax, kids.
Don't let this monstrous face fool you.
Don't let the monstrous face fool you.
I'm Detective Harry A. Beast
I'm Detective Harry
with the Fairy Tale Crime Division.
with the fairy tale
We've been trailing this witch for many months now. Thanks to you and all your friends, we can finally put this tale of crime to rest. It's all up to you, Dame. And the witch said, "What do you mean?"
What do you mean?
"I'm going to jail."
I'm going to jail?
And the beast said, "That's right, sweetie.
That's right, sweetie.
This is the end of your fairy tale."
This is the end of your fairy
So the beast came up to the witch and put her in handcuffs. Go ahead and come behind her and put her in handcuffs. Witch, go ahead and put your hands behind your back. Oh my goodness, she's been eating children. So he hauled her off to jail. Good job, beast. Take her out to jail in the audience. Good job. Well, just then Gretel popped up and said, "How did you know we were here?"
How did you know we were here?
And Rapunzel said, "We work for the lost and exploited
We work for the lost and exploited.
characters department.
Characters department.
And your parents sent out an alert
And your parents sent out an alert
when you didn't report at the military school."
when you didn't report at the military school.
And the two princes stepped forward and said, this first prince said, "We were waiting for you at the military school.
We were waiting for you at the military school.
When you didn't report,
When you didn't report,
we thought something bad had happened."
we thought something bad had happened.
Good job, guys. Wow, what good heroes. So Rapunzel, you step forward too, and you say, "We set out to find you
We set out to find you
and help along the way from a nice troll,
and help along the way from a nice school,
from some traveling musicians,
from some traveling musicians,
and a very sleepy princess."
and a very sleepy prince.
Well, just then Mother and Father burst in the house also. Can Mother and Father come from stage right now? And guys, I want to see you so happy to be reunited with your children, so go ahead and rush in. Just then, rushed in Hansel and Gretel's parents. Go ahead, rush in. Oh! And Mother said, "We were so worried about you."
We were so worried about you.
Good job. And Father said, "Thank goodness you're all right. Thank goodness you're all right." And he gave them each a nice pat on the head. And Hansel said, "Father,
Father,
Mother,
Mother,
may we come home now?
may we come home now?
We promise
We promise
we won't do any naughty things anymore."
we won't do any naughty things anymore.
And Mother said, "Yes, of course.
Yes, of course.
We've missed you."
We've missed you.
And she gave her children a big hug. All right. And so everyone bid farewell to each other. So can you guys all say goodbye? Say goodbye. And Hansel and Gretel and the parents said, "Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Hansel and Gretel, so you guys go back into the audience. Good job, heroes. You saved the day. So Hansel and Gretel went home with their parents, and they lived happily ever after. And as for the witch, she was found guilty of attempting to cook a child. And now she runs a vegetarian cooking show from her jail cell. Okay, guys, the end. Okay, guys, I'd like you to stand up and take a bow.